I can't wait to get that bumper back on. Oh, it's gonna look so good. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Today we're going to install my VMP triple pass heat exchanger on my GT500, and it's going to be sweet. First I got to take my car apart and take the old heat exchanger off, measure out where I'm going to put my stencil on the new one. Got to paint the stencil, give that maybe an hour to dry a little bit, and then throw the new one in and feather up with coolant and all that good stuff. So stick around, let's do this. You know, VMP makes a really good video on how to do this heat exchanger, so I'm not even going to try to compete with them. So if you really want to know how to do it, check out their video. I'm going to show you a couple things that they didn't show that I feel that they could have. Other than that, just enjoy the video or skip to the end to where I have it on and see how it looks. They didn't really show you quite as good. Under here you want to take these two off. This is right in front of the wheel well. And then he says 10 millimeter and 7 millimeter, but these are all for 7 millimeters. Two connectors on each side. They're easy to remove, you just hit the button. Little button right there. One's the turn signal, one's the fog lights. It's hooked to a air deflector here. In there. So you have to undo those. Here you can see that I put some cardboard that I cut to the same size as the letters I'm using inside the opening, so I can decide where I'm going to put the stencil. I don't know what went wrong, but nothing lined up, which you'll see later. So what I would do now is tell you to go 5 ribs up on your VMP triple pass heat exchanger for the perfect place to put these letters, because I was a little lower than I should have been. So what I'm going to do now is, I got a level because it's the longest straight thing I have. I'm going to go from the middle of these holes and count down to here, because before I put this on, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs above this is where I want the bottom of my letters to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ribs down. So if we go to the center of this one, it's about there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 14. So that's going to be 4 ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4 ribs up. That's where my stencil is going to start. 22 inches, 22 and 1/8, it's 24 inches. I'm not going to use radiator paint because I'm not painting the whole radiator, so I don't think that it'll really matter if I cover that small section with this. Never have I ever or will I ever claim to be a professional painter. Hell yeah! So these holes that hold the radiator in here are threaded. So your bolt's actually going to thread into there, and then you're going to put a nut on. So that's why in the VMP video, you put the bolt in, run it in, and then tighten the nut. It's going to bottom out on this first, and you don't want to strip these. So make sure you torque the nut on the back when you're done. I can't wait to get that bumper back on. Oh, it's going to look so good. Hell yeah. And another thing, the kit does not include a coupler for this coolant hose you're supposed to cut and attach for an extension. So go grab yourself one of those. Here's something I don't like. I don't like this. My hose is kinked. I mean, it's not kinked to where it's not gonna flow, but I had to mess with it a little bit to try to get it as good as possible. Then it's rubbing on here, and I don't like that. I don't like it rubbing on stuff. I've messed with it, and there's no other better routing option. What they could have done is they could have put an elbow on here and made it come right here, so then you could, you know, but whatever. VMP said to cut this hose to 10 inches. So I did that, but it was too long and it was kinking right here. So I cut 2 inches off of it, and that seems to be a perfect length. It's sitting nice, it's not kinking, it's not too tight, not too loose. 8 inches. Well, this is hugely unfortunate, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. There's no mounting bracket in this thing to mount it to the car. What the f***, VMP? God damn, it's always something. I can never fucking have anything. Another thing VMP didn't do was show you the routing of the wire harness. So I'm gonna show you how I did that. It's not like the official way or anything, it's just the way that I did it. First, you wanna make sure you disconnect your battery. And then you're getting your positives. There's 2 connectors. Getting them off this stud right here in your fuse box. I ran it down, zip tied it to this, ran it around, another zip tie, and then I didn't know what to do with the fuses, so I kind of secured them with the zip tie right there. That way they're not flapping around and getting in the way of anything. You won't notice them unless you notice them, right? It's a lot easier to get to this if you pop off this connector right here. Then you got a lot more room to work. The ground came up here. That's coming up right here. And here's the relays, which I remembered I had extra relays from doing stuff to my bug. So I took the mounting clips off of there and then ended up getting a hold of VMP after a while and letting them know I didn't have mine, so hopefully they can look out for that in the future. So basically I zip tied them to the little brackets that hold the fan, and then kind of held everything up together so it's not hanging out. Same thing over here. Then I ran it back here behind the horn up through here. If you take your air box out, it's going to be a whole lot easier. So I ran it up here. I don't really like how the wiring is here, but there's a bunch of slack. So I kind of just zip tied together in a loop here, as secure as I could get it. And this is your plug that you're jumping right here. This plug took a good minute of jiggling in order to get that locked in place, but it'll go. You just got to keep pushing and shaking and twisting and jiggling, and it'll make a tiny click. See if I can get this while holding the camera. In order to jump this, you're going to go from this corner to this corner. Yep. As you can hear, the fans are on. So I'd say they work. For the reservoir, you're supposed to use orange engine coolant, but Ford doesn't make orange engine coolant, and this is what you got to get. Yellow is compatible. So what I did is I emptied half of a bottle of distilled water. I used a scale so I could measure it, so it's half. And then I filled it up with coolant. Then I filled my reservoir, jumped my relay to run the pump, and I had to do that about 4 times before it looked like it was at a good level. And when that happened also, the last of the orange went through the system and kind of changed the color of this a little bit. So I know that it cycled all the way through and picked up that orange wherever it was hiding. And then I pinched off this line and ran it again. And what this does is, this is the bypass for the tank. So if you pinch this off, then it has to run through the tank while it's circulating. And I had another ½ inch or so on here that went down. So I did find some air trapped in there somewhere. And I'm assuming that there's more and I haven't gotten it. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this for the next few drives and top it off when I need to. I don't know how it happened, and I'm a little disappointed that the Shelby came out like so much farther down. Maybe like a ½ inch farther down than I wanted it to. And I measured it out. I don't understand, you know? I measured the size of the ribs and they're the same. So I don't know where it went wrong. I mean, it looks good. It's just a little low. So if you're standing right here, it looks good. If you're far away from it, it's a little low. The fans are loud, but you can feel the air sucking in there. Watch. Look at that. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's a hell of airflow. So, I'm impressed with that. Good fans there. So those are some of the things that the VMP video didn't cover that I kind of had questions about before I did it, so I went over those. And when you're doing your stencil, do it 5 rows up because 4 is just too low. I asked Lethal Performance not to ship my exhaust FedEx, to please ship it UPS, so they coordinated with Cooks. It's been over 2 months, it's been like 2.5 months since I ordered it. They coordinated with Cooks to have it shipped UPS, and then oh no, they accidentally sent it out FedEx. So they put a return thing for the package so they can get it back and send it out UPS, and it's been a week and FedEx still hasn't got the package back to them. It's just sitting there. At one point the label was marked unreadable and had to be reprinted. I'm never getting my exhaust because FedEx sucks so bad. I hate FedEx. If I could get that exhaust, I could make a video on that one, but whatever. Hit the like and subscribe button, and there's gonna be more on the Mustang and there's gonna be more on the truck. I doubt I'll do anything on the Harley, and I don't care to do much on the Contour because it's a piece of shit.